Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we have a great lesson in our Course in Miracles. It's lesson 137. When I am healed, I'm not healed alone. And what it so beautifully says here is today's idea remains the central thought on which salvation rests. Now listen to the next line. For healing is the opposite of all the world's ideas, which dwell on sickness and on separate states. It's not the opposite, healing is not the opposite of some of the world ideas, it's the opposite of all of them, because all the world's ideas dwell on sickness and on separation. That's why nothing the world believes is true, because all of its ideas are based on the idea that you're separate from source, that you're separate from brother, right? You have an idea of separation. So what he so beautifully says, he says, sickness is in retreat from others and a shutting off of joining. It becomes a door that closes on a separate self and keeps it isolated and alone, right? I am sick, you are well, right? I'm separate from you. Whatever is happening to me has no effect on you and vice versa. But that's a decision, right? I'm not separate from you, right? Minds are joined. There's only one mind, right? It's impossible. There's only one of us. But the fact is that if you think you're separate, if you're shutting yourself off from your brother and from source, you're going to be sick. Whether that actually results in a physical illness or not is irrelevant. The moment you have the idea of separation, the mind is sick because what? Minds are not separate, minds are joined. So the moment the mind thinks that it's separate, it's sick, right? That's the opposite of healing. Now, healing is the reversal of that. It recognizes that minds are joined. It reverses that decision to be separate from your brother. Instead, you now making a decision to join with your brother, to no longer be separate. That's healing. It's that truly that simple. Healing is a decision. Huh? Just as separation was a decision, it's the undoing of that particular decision. He says sickness is isolation, right? For it keeps oneself apart from all the rest to suffer what others do not feel, right? It gives the body final power to make the separation real and keep the mind in solitary prison, right? Like the body has any autonomy. It doesn't, right? It's all a decision, and decisions are of the mind, right? It says the world obeys the laws that sickness serves, but healing operates apart from them. Right? Healing does not fall under the laws of these worlds. It operates completely apart from them. Right? Healing is your decision to be one again. It is impossible that anyone be healed alone. Again, let me repeat that. It's impossible that anyone be healed alone. In sickness must he be apart and separate. But healing, listen, is his own decision. Again, healing is a decision to be one again and to accept himself with all its part intact and unassailed. What an amazing idea, right? This is an incredible lesson. Now, lesson, I love this. I love the way this Course in Miracles so beautifully brings about in you that thinking that's uncompromising, right? Uncompromising thinking. You can't compromise, you can't reconcile opposites, right? There's two thought systems. There's the one of the world and there's the one from the Course in Miracles or truth, and they do not meet anywhere. They're each other's opposite. Now listen to this. Healing might just be called a counter dream, right? If the thinking of the world is a dream, then this is the counter dream, which cancels out the dream of sickness in the name of truth, for not, but not in truth itself. That's called waking up. That's called undergoing spiritual transformation, right? You're being healed because you're dissolving your own dream. Just as forgiveness overlooks all sins that never were accomplished, again, sin is just another word of separation, just as sickness is. Healing, but removes illusions that have not occurred. I love it, right? That's your purpose. Your purpose is to accept the one for yourself as a teacher of God. And in that, you make the decision to be one again, to join your brother, to accept the fact that your brother and yourself are joined, right? And in that, you are healed. In that, your mind is healed because it no longer holds on to the idea that it's separate. And in that, all sickness is impossible because sickness is the result of the idea that you're separate from source and separate from your brother, which is, by the way, the same thing. So this is how beautiful healing is. Healing is a decision to be no longer separate, but to join your brother. And what happens if two minds recognize their oneness? They become happy, they become glad. That's a joyful experience. But that's so far beyond the experience that anything in this world can give to you. It is full of light and love and happiness. And to heal is to make happy. Right? But for no reason at all, simply to feel the light and the love and the happiness and the freedom that is inherent in your true self, in what you truly are. You are indeed whole and perfect as God created you, therefore sickness is impossible. But sickness seems very possible in dreams, when you think you're separate, right? When you think you're a body, body identification. So read this lesson if you have a chance today. It is a beautiful, beautiful lesson, and it really invites you to think differently, right? To really invite you the idea that you're not separate, right? And to make that a decision that you're no longer going to think that you're separate. What a beautiful line. This is lesson 137. When I am healed, I'm not healed alone.